This is Madden NFL 26, code provided by EA. We're here on PlayStation 5 Pro, where the game is indeed enhanced. Be sure to like the video. Subscribing is great as well. Time to jump out there and enjoy and talk about the ultimate version of Madden when it comes to the console situation and setup here, where you get the definitive edition of the game. So instead of having multiple presets like you'd get on, say, Xbox or the lower end PlayStation 5, you just get one visual preset that gives you, well, you just get the default setup, I guess. Like, there's no changing because you just get everything rolled into one package, which is quite incredible. So yeah, the Madden NFL 26 PS5 Pro enhancement is pretty top tier. Just gonna throw it out there. I mean, it's similar to what we got last year with the release of Madden, with its first Pro enhancement offering. It's just kind of like the best way to play without having to sort of pick and choose the visuals. You get the full suite of options here, which we'll talk about a little bit later on. But let's dive into what's changed. This year is all about fine-tuning the visual presentation, look, and feel of Madden in order to provide you with the most authentic game day experience. So deeper levels of field art, mascots, 18 at launch with more to come after launch as free updates, which is exciting. It's actually kind of interesting that the mascots are there and they've not done the mascots previously, if that makes sense. It's a bit weird because, like, in hockey, they've had the mascots there for quite a while, so I was like, oh, kind of surprised that, sorry, I'm getting attacked by a mosquito, which sounds a little silly, but yeah, okay, I don't know if I got it, but anyways, yeah, no, it's trying to bite me. This is very real, and this is happening right now while I'm trying to do this. Where did that even come from? Okay, also, it's really neat. Like, literally, if you do a blitz and you hit it well, you just automatically get, like, a fumble almost, like, every time. It's crazy. So, yeah, talked about mascots, more coming to launch, or after launch, 18 at launch. Stadium graphics have been improved alongside stadium sounds and uniforms as they try to provide a more authentic to each individual area region experience when you are playing Madden. Primetime packages for better authenticity in the presentation. They're supposed to feel more like your regular day that you would be watching a presentation at home. And that feeds into something we'll talk about a little later on, which is as you progress in the season, different games will feel different depending on how far you are into the season, and we'll talk about how that factors into those modes a little bit later on. So we've got new physics-based interactions, including for tackles, stiff arms, and also for the trucking, and better collision control. So they've done some really nice improvements to the game in regards to the collisions of players. So that's something you notice is a lot less clipping, and a lot less players actually, like, inorganically bumping into each other, which was always so awkward in the past. Like, it always looked weird, but this year is a lot better for that, which is kind of appreciated. There's also AI-powered learning systems for gameplay mechanics. You sort of see that in the sense of, say, the quarterback systems, quarterback DNA they're calling it, and coach DNA. So they're feeding in information and data, and they will continue to do that. And it's supposed to look at the trends of, say, NFL coaches and the trends of quarterbacks, and it's supposed to provide you with something that, like, interacts and or handles and plays more similar to the realistic version of it. We're seeing this across the EA Sports titles, where it's sort of like really feeding into the idea that we're getting much more realistic moving and reacting and animating players across these games, which is quite interesting to see how that's sort of evolved. And it makes sense because, whoa, they've been working on doing that more and more for sports titles and across the board for stuff. So coaches have also evolved, coach creation and coach progression and coach stories. So if you care about the coach element of things, they've definitely worked on making the coaches better. And I mean, the coaches in the game, I think, look a lot more realistic than they normally do. So that's kind of nice, and they kind of touch upon that almost. Like, you'll see them on the sidelines there a lot more. There's a lot more focus on them being on the sidelines, which is kind of neat. New control and strategy for defensive players, including handling. So if you're like a big, you're into defense, that's kind of been overhauled. Custom zones. Now, another big part of the game that's changed a lot is the weather, football weather. And it actually matters. This is something I've been complaining about or mentioning for quite a few years in my reviews, because I do cover Madden every year. Come around next year if you want another one, but it is something I complain about. It's like the snow is terrible, the rain was like superficial. This year they've actually put a real effort into creating realistic weathering conditions. So the snow, when there's heavy snow going on, you can't really see that well. You see in a realistic way, if that makes sense. Like there's actually like a bit of a mist of the snow, a fog of the snow. You can, actually see that the visibility is impacted. Same with how your players react. The snow deformation has improved a lot. The interactions of the players with the snow has improved a lot. How heavy the snow feels is a lot better. And you get that with rain too, You get the heavier rain, more of, again, a fogging, more of a misting of the atmosphere. You get that rain really impacting the environment. You see the crowd sort of reacting to the weathering. You see the players reacting to the weathering, and the jerseys kind of getting dirty over the course of the game, which is really interesting. A smaller level detail, but one that is appreciated nonetheless. So let's talk about the technical elements of this game. So it is, from a visual standpoint, like I said, there's no, visual options. It's just literally, oh yeah, got it in there. It's literally just one setting. It's a full 4K at 60 FPS with ray traced illumination. And it looks incredible. It looks real. It looks visually impressive. It plays smoothly. And you just get a fully smooth, fluid 60 FPS across the board, which is awesome. And HDR support, of course. And there's crossplay, and you get the usual fancy sound settings, and it just looks great. And then I think coupled with, was it last year or the year before, they added much more higher levels of detail of grass, where like every blade of grass is like a thing, and the presentation here from a lighting and gameplay perspective just looks absolutely fantastic. Like, this is a current gen experience that you should be having on sports titles. And I really don't know where they go next gen. Now, with that, I am a little bit disappointed that we haven't seen the return of the high frame rate mode. So that was something we had for the first couple years of this generation, was like 120 FPS action. So it would be cool to see if that came back at some point down the road, but I definitely see where they're going. And I'm very curious to see, like, say, a PS6 in a couple of years, how that one is going to push the boundaries technically more. Because it does feel like we are, to some degree, plateauing for realism. Because it does. It looks great. Feels great. I can feel the controller. It's kind of spectacular. And yeah, let's dive in and talk about the various modes that are here. It's your usual stuff, whether you're playing online or offline. Is that allowed? He just like totally threw my guy to the side there. I think he might have hurt his feelings. You've got quick play. That's kind of what I play, and you can choose like the game of the day, the match of the day, or actual matches that are going on. There's online, like head-to-head, you got other various online modes and interactions. There's the training camp, there's a creation area. Then we have Ultimate Team, which is like your card-based system, What self-respecting sports game in the modern era doesn't have a card-based system? This is relatively the same. There's now 10 seasonal events. Actually, when the game opens up, there's like, it asks you about getting like a battle pass, which is really odd to me. Like, I don't know, I think I have credits or whatever, but it's like you can choose to get the battle pass, and I was like, what is it? And it seems like it's tailored for every team too, which I guess is nice if you want that, but I was just like, oh wow, that's fascinating. So yeah, there's 10 seasonal events throughout the year. There's a pack helper for managing your roster of cards, so it makes it a little bit easier to manage your team in a more automatic sense. And then there is also the addition of new leaderboard campaigns that you can work through for competition against others. Then we've got franchise mode. This is where I was talking about the coach element kind of playing into it, and the player AI kind of playing into it. So NFL coach adjustments to manage every game to make them feel different, with randomized weather to a degree, and unique AI behavior every week to make them feel different. So the farther in the season you are, like if you're getting more and more working towards the Superb Owl, you will feel that kind of vibe. The atmosphere will feed into that, the action, the tension of it, the presentation of the game day. It's a lot more like you'll know that you're in the later part of the seasons because like beforehand, you know, you just kind of played and, you know, it's like, oh, wow, you're working towards winning, you know, or in playoffs or whatever, but it didn't really feel like that. And the idea now is that it feels a little bit more like you are actually competing in playoffs where you get a later part of the season. That mosquito is still alive and it's going against the wall in the corner. It's driving me crazy. Where did all these bugs come from? I mean, like, no bugs this season and rain and all of a sudden there's mosquitoes everywhere. Super annoying. Superstar. So, career chapters are more in-depth. There's demanding trades, being benched if you're playing bad. I know one of those getting good scenarios, even the AI thinks you should sit on the bench for a bit. That's emotionally traumatizing. And sphere of influence. So this is what I was kind of talking about with, like, again, coach stuff and that, kind of feeding into everything, or, well, the QB and that, and all the AI systems. So you have a sphere of influence, and your relationships matter, from like your relationship to your coach or to the people around you, and that all kind of feeds into how you are perceived and bonuses that you get when you're playing, which is kind of neat for Superstar mode. We've also got, yeah, actually no, that's basically it for our modes. Yeah, that's it. Ultimate Team, Franchise, Superstar, Online Head-to-Head, Quick Play, Training Camp stuff. Yeah, we talked about all those. That's the full scope of the game this year, basically. Yeah, I think I covered everything, which is kind of exciting. But yeah, it looks absolutely spectacular here on the PlayStation 5 Pro. The enhancement is awesome. But I mean, we kind of got that last year, so I'm not really too surprised, if that makes sense. Like, I figured it would be another nice upgrade like this, and I think the presentation and visuals and everything look great, and don't really have too many complaints. I'm pretty happy with it. I think you will be too. It's the best way to play Madden on consoles by far. It's nice to just have the visual setting as it is, and it looks absolutely fantastic. And it plays well, and everything looks great. The atmosphere, the crowd, all the little silly stuff on the side, like the Gatorade, the Microsoft Surface tablets. Yeah, but it all handles and plays pretty well. It plays like another year of Madden, which I think a lot of you will expect and be used to, and it'll be interesting to see how they continue to evolve this formula down the road, but hopefully that gave you a full scope of things. It's very much a year that's focused on adjusting your atmosphere and visuals, similar to what we got with college football, so I'll leave you with some non-commentary gameplay from here on out.
Coverage on the play by Trayvon Diggs. Off the play fake, Nicks.
He's quarterbacking right there because he certainly felt the pressure coming. The alternative, getting sacked for the first time. He didn't like that option at all. Did a nice job saving yardage. This one out here close to the first down because he's brought down at the 26.
Brought down at the 26.
It'll be a gain of 4, but it won't be enough. It leaves him with a fourth down now. They're going. It's Nicks. Working the middle of the field. He's got a man complete. Just his second catch of the game so far. This one moves the chains.
That's good for a Broncos first down. First and 10. Chase McLaughlin to kick off for the Buccaneers.
Certainly happy to have you along. Chase McLaughlin has it on the tee, and off we go here in Tampa. And start this drive just across the 30. Nice work on the return. Here's the Chiefs offense for their first possession, and it's Patrick Mahomes at quarterback. And of course, number one, trying to win the game today, but for him, it's always about Super Bowls. Trying to get back to his fourth consecutive one. Fell short of the NFL's first ever three-peat in Super Bowl last year. Second and a couple. on the move on first down.
First down, Kansas City.
And it's straight. It's Pacheco. A good job of finding the open space to run as he's down close to the 30 here. Good gain again. That's now 31 yards combined on his last two plays.
And the first down, Chiefs.
In motion goes the tight end. Now Mahomes. This one complete. It's Rasheed Rice. Kansas City touchdown. Rasheed Rice. 30 yards. And the Chiefs are on the board first here on the road in Tampa. Well, they spoke about the importance of getting off to a good start, and they're on their first drive, Charles, into the end zone for the touchdown.
And what an advantage for them. They're already clicking one drive in, didn't need to wait to get up to full speed. We heard about the extra time they put in with each other, trying to learn each other's skills, what they like, the whole deal. And it pays off early in this one. I would expect them to keep firing on the next drive and keep that connection going.
After the touchdown, here's Butker on to kick it away. Oh, good return past the 30. So a good return across the 35 into the 46. So here come the Bucs now for that first drive.
Jake Elliott to kick off for Philadelphia.
Here's the kicker, Jake Elliott, ready to get this one started. And off we go for Lincoln Financial Field. Well, a nice return. Sets him up pretty good here right at the 30-yard line.
The Seahawks take over
So here come the Seahawks now for their first possession. Leading them out is their 6'3" quarterback, the third overall selection in 2018, Sam Darnold.
And I know that last year in 2024, New York Jets fans were watching him and said, that's the guy we thought we were going to get. But he found his groove in Minnesota, finishing the top 5 in passing yards and touchdowns last year. In Seattle, where we played the past season.
And all the way, he lost the football.
Much like running back up through the line, quarterbacks have to be aware of protecting the football as well. He left it exposed that time. Wound up having it knocked free, but fortunately, had a little teammate who was able to get it.
He completes this to Walker. So the completion makes it just a yard. Completes it for 14 yards. He's out of bounds. Run is set down, started. They need a full 10 here to pick up the first down and move the chains. From the gun, third down, here's down. As he completes to Jackson Smith and Jumbo. And they will take him down, but they can work it across midfield. So from Philadelphia territory now, here's a first and 10 at the 46.
First down, Seahawks.
Play action, got it. Going right back to Smith and Jumbo. And able to work this to the 25-32, setting down.
A gain of 21 yards. First down, Seattle.
It's Keith Walker. And he's going to take this ahead for right around 3 yards, but no more than that.
Second run out by Sidney Brown. It's a pickup of 3. Brings up second and 7.
Down to throw.
The Eagles 22-yard line.
It's caught. Able to get him down, but he does reach the 5. First and goal, a chance for an early statement here on the road. Here's Walker. And Ryan scores here. He's going to stop in his tracks.
He was taken down behind the line of scrimmage.
It's a loss of a yard there, and it's second down.
Brings up second and
Let's face it, that's just a helpless
At the
feeling for a
6-yard
running back
line.
there. He's looking up to find a hole, and all he finds is a whole lot of ticked-off linebacker.
They come up here with another shot from the 6-yard line, and it's second and goal.